The best of money matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Now, accounting is a necessary but often tedious task. From managing books and filing taxes to ensuring compliance with ever-changing regulations, businesses spend countless hours on manual financial processes. But what if these tasks could be automated with precision and efficiency? Well, Automa8e Technologies is turning this vision into reality. So to find out more about how they're using AI to automate financial processes, improve accuracy, and streamline compliance, joining us today is Vidushan Premathiratne, who is the Chief Growth Officer at Automa8e Technologies. Vidu, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and thank you for giving some time to show how Automa8e is spearheading this journey of disruption.
Well, we want to find out more about Automa8e Technologies here. I mean, you've seen firsthand the inefficiencies and challenges in traditional accounting processes. So what specific gaps did you notice that led to the creation of Automa8e?
Yeah, so in order to explain that whole process, let's first dissect what does traditional accounting mean. So let's start from the onset. So you get the business transaction documents like the bills, invoices, lease, loan documents, etc., which are packed with text, number of information, line items. So that needs to be first extracted. And then it needs to be populated. That means posting it on, say, if you have contemporary systems, you could post it there, or you could just post it on a spreadsheet and so on. But the concept is extraction, posting, then you go by classifications according to IFRS standards, and then comes the journal entries, which involves the calculations, adjustments, accruals, and the list goes on. And afterwards, you need to prepare a couple of sets of documents. So one is a financial report, that is to ACRA, which is the Accounting and Corporate Regulatory Authority, and the tax computations, both GST as well as corporate taxes for IRAS, which is the Inland Revenue Authority of Singapore. So all these are currently done manually there. So there are contemporary systems that have come about, but still most of these processes are done manually. And what if I say that what Automa8e does is merely just uploading those very first business transaction documents, and the rest of the process is all auto done for you. And that's the disruption we are talking, and which I would be explaining further.
All right. Well, I'm interested. So how long does it typically take for a person to go through all that processes versus being automated by Automa8e Technologies?
Yeah. So in terms of if you take an average startup company, or we'll take an early stage SME to make it much better. So there you're looking at about 500 to around 1,000 transactions per year. So just imagine each transaction, extraction, then population, classifications, then finally processing the data, which leads up to this. So all these tasks are repetitive, manual, error-prone, plus you have to make sure they are compliant with all these regulations and standards, which means that this whole process becomes quite annoying, error-prone, and mostly, if you're a business owner or a professional, you'll wonder why should you spend time? Because ultimately, as a business, your biggest asset is time. And what Automa8e does is we help you buy back the time where you could actually put it to better activities such as growing your revenue, growing your customers. So that's where it comes in. So quickly to answer your question, it varies due to the size of the company. But that whole process can be cut significantly. That's the right way to put it across.
Okay, so let's dive into exactly how this works. So how does Automa8e leverage AI and machine learning to enhance, financial processes?
Yeah, so how Automa8e works is it uses AI to enable the whole process and literally compile all those particular documents. So if I just start with the data extraction. So Automa8e, once you digitize those business transaction documents, Automa8e uses OCR to extract the data out. All the financial information that will be used to populate or do the journal entries, which later on goes on to do the calculations and the generation. So that's the first step, extraction. Then comes in the automation side of it. So automation works on the calculations, adjustments, accruals, then interest calculations, tax computations, and that's how the whole process becomes more streamlined. And how Automa8e transforms it is, as I said earlier, you just upload, AI extracts, and then the whole process of calculations, everything, the system does it. And this includes depreciation, amortization, which are mostly done on spreadsheets today. So we move all of that to a more automated process. And as a result, you tend to have more time with your families and so on.
I see. Well, I hear you have something called the manual journal entries that are automated. So tell us more about that, and why is this considered a game changer for businesses?
Okay, so why it becomes a game changer is, again, if you look at how a manual journal entry takes place. So that involves the computation aspect, then you involves the doing all the adjustments, etc. So now how we automate it is, or how we actually differ from other particular softwares, is the fact that we replace all these functions using AI for data extraction, and finally the automation actually comes in to do all these currency validations and so on. And the final output, which is the most important thing, which is the final computations, which can lead on to be submitted to IRAS and then to ACRA, the financial report, that becomes auto-generated. So the data that is used, which is the journal entries, after adjusting for all these computations and so on, gets auto-generated, which gets led on to the creation or the generation of these documents for submission.
I see. Well, Documate and ReportMate take automation a step further by streamlining bookkeeping and financial reporting at Automa8e Technologies. How do these tools, enhance efficiency for accounting professionals?
Okay, so Automa8e, in a nutshell, is an integrated suite of a number of softwares that actually form one. So again, how we differ from all the other contemporary softwares or processors is that we cover the entire accounting and tax cycle. We don't leave any piece behind there. So Documate, ReportMate are two modules. So Documate is the very first module, which involves the data extraction, the storing of the digitized business transaction documents. You could store it within our system for the required time by the regulators, and it could also be retrieved anytime if you want them at some point. And also comes the extraction side of things. ReportMate is merely the generation of the financial report, which is the main document that is required for ACRA, which takes few days to compile, while in Automa8e is just a click. Then if I just go on a bit more, so in order to run your business on a daily basis, you need a number of reports, from your receivables to sales, purchases, many things. Automa8e generates 20 types of reports in 5 different categories.
Oh, wow.
So your business decision making is now brought to your fingertips. And all what you did was just upload the piece of data.
Right.
And this is why we can comfortably say why we are spearheading this journey.
That's
and it's
amazing.
coming from Singapore.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, aside from this, you also help companies in handling tax filings, which can be, of course, time-consuming and complex. Could you share which feature can actually help assist businesses in this area, and how has the feedback been so far?
The feedback has been great. So I think we've helped around 200 plus businesses actually do their tax filings. And tax filings involve 2 types of taxes. So one is the GST and the corporate taxes. So within our system, computations for both GST and corporate taxes can be fully automated.
Right.
And we are also recognized by IRAS as a Tier 3 licensed software. So you could do the submission of Form CS, the tax computations, to IRAS directly from our platform.
Oh, wow.
If you have the call pass feature. So that's how we have made things so simple. Or it's another few steps that come in. And tax calculation, as you know, is very cumbersome.
Right.
And our system literally is made for a non-professional.
Okay.
So if you're a business owner, if you have no idea of how to do compliances, how to do taxes, still our system transforms it. So even if you open a company one day, Hongbin,
Yep.
Automa8e is the tool where
All
you could
right.
really automate it.
Once I open a company, I will definitely reach out to you. But, many companies might hesitate to adopt AI-driven accounting due to, it being fairly new, as well as concerns about accuracy and security. So how does Automa8e address these concerns?
Yeah, so I would actually draw upon one famous quote by a famous writer, Oscar Wilde. So
Okay.
what he said was, today people know the price of everything, but the value of nothing. I think that's where AI is today. So where people are unable to foresee the value of how AI is actually disrupting a particular process. And that means they are unable to see, what's the outcomes and so on. So that's where there's a slight delay in the whole adoption of these AI tools and so on, and especially in the accounting process where there's good human substitutes in overseas countries where they could outsource. But in the long run, as you know, as we saw with the whole revolutions over the past few decades or generations, is that ultimately technology takes over and all these human processes get or embedded into technology. So I would say people will understand the value as we are seeing ourselves right now. So the response has been quite good. I think the government of Singapore has also been encouraging through a number of grants. So that's where it comes in. In terms of the security aspect, Automa8e follows the most strictest guidelines and so on given by IRAS, since we are recognized as a Tier 3 licensed software, and also all the PDPA, cybersecurity guidelines, and so on. And also we on the verge of doing Invoice Now, which is what we call the payment mechanism for any form of government payments and also for GST submissions and so on. So Automa8e will literally handle all of those as well.
Right. Well, as you mentioned, Automa8e has achieved the Tier 3 ASR plus accreditation from IRAS. So what does this accreditation, signify for your company and your users, as well as how does achieving this Tier 3 status differentiate Automa8e from other accounting software providers?
Okay, so I would say Tier 3, there are 8 competitors right now. But in terms of a platform's capability with Tier 3, Automa8e is ahead. And the industry actually reveals that. And also, if you take last year's FinTech Awards, we were recognized amongst the top 4 regulated fintechs.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So I would say, and also when it comes to the development of the software, so the founder of Automa8e is a chartered accountant for 25 plus years. So he's understood what is required in Singapore very well than the major contemporary softwares out there. So that makes Automa8e quite superior as a Tier 3 provider, even though there are 8 such players in the market.
With, different clients that you've worked with so far, where do you see Automa8e in the future? I mean, do you see Automa8e in the forefront of the shift in the accounting landscape?
So I think we're already disrupting that space, and we're looking at global expansion. That should happen pretty soon. But mostly if you take the whole financial process, there's a number of other things we can disrupt. So that means seamless payments. We are partnering with a few neobanks to do that. So that means you could just take a photo of a bill. AI will extract, populate it onto the payment portal and do the payment.
Okay.
So it's a few steps we're doing. Then we are also looking to automate the whole incorporation process, managing the business profile. It's a module called Corporate. We'll be having it launched in the next few months and so on. We are also looking at several other modules like managing the whole purchase orders, delivery process, the procurement cycle through a module called Operate. And there's a few more innovations, I would say, which you would know around AI and agents as we are seeing how it grows with time. So many innovations, and we are lucky to be part of this company that is actually spearheading this journey.
Amazing.
Not only in Singapore, but around the world.
Amazing. Well, looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much, Vidu, for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. That was Vidushan Premathiratne, who is the Chief Growth Officer at Automa8e Technologies. And this has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.